All right, guys, welcome back to another video. We have a lot to talk about today. If you are new here, you enjoy daily game content and you like what you see throughout this video, hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, which I see like 50% of my viewers are returning viewers, but aren't subscribed, and you're watching, just hit the subscribe button and help this channel grow if you are a fan of the content. But let's jump in here and let's talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, because we know what's been going on with this game. They've had a brutal launch. I mean, not only from a technical perspective with the whole server thing where they have to take the servers offline and then fix it and put it all back. Essentially, people had logged into the game with their early access that they paid extra money for, and they had been told that they had already beaten the campaign. That's all been fixed up. People are playing the game itself. But besides that, there's just been a lot of negativity and bad PR surrounding this game. Now, I have not played this game. I've only played the beta a while ago. I've watched some videos of it now over the last couple of days with people who have had early access. And honestly, I think the gameplay does look fun, something that I would enjoy playing because I do like that fast-paced movement style of game, and the traversal in this game looks really cool. I've also seen some of the cutscenes and some of the spoilers out there. Not as much of a fan of that. But besides that, it's probably a game I will check out at some point. I do like DC. I do like superhero games. So it's always something that kind of I enjoy trying out. But I feel like there is so much negativity around this game. It's almost going to be DOA, which I think is unfortunate because Rocksteady is a phenomenal developer. They gave us the Batman Arkham games, and those were some of the best video games, some of the best comic book superhero video games that we have ever gotten. And now we're here with Suicide Squad, and it is looking like, at least at this early part of the game, at these early launch stages, that it is not going to be successful. We do have this article here from Jez Corden in Windows Central saying, searches for Suicide Squad refund surged 791% following the game's early access launch disaster. And basically, because of what happened with these servers, a lot of people are looking up ways to refund this game. Now, will this translate into everybody refunding it? Because I feel like they did kind of get the fix out there relatively fast. So if you weren't able to play right away, you're able to play now. And if you've played it, are you hooked? Do you like it? I would love to know in the comments below. But the biggest problem here is to gain early access to this game, you had to buy the deluxe edition, which was $100. And if you're not actually getting early access when they say you can get it, that is a huge debacle. I know for myself, if I bought the deluxe edition at $100 and I didn't get access the minute that they said it was available, I would be asking for a refund. And if I did want to play the game, I would just downgrade to the regular edition and just wait the 3 days, because to me, that's almost an unforgivable mistake when you're charging people extra money to get early access and then that is not available. So we will see how Justice League does, or Suicide Squad does, I should say, because this one, a lot of people got excited for, saw Rocksteady was developing it, and there's so much negativity surrounding the game itself. And I would love to know in the comments below, like I said, if you've played this game, how do you feel about it? Is it fun? Is the gameplay good? What do you think about the story? I've also heard good things about the story, minus some of the parts of it, but the actual acting and stuff people have said is engaging. So we'll see. I always like to know, because it's hard to tell whether the game is really as bad as people are making it out to be, just because there's that whole tornado of negativity going towards it leading up to the launch that we did see, or is it actually pretty decent? And if you look through all the negativity, is it something worth playing? Of course, we'll keep our eyes on that going forward when it does eventually get its official launch. Now let's jump over here, because as we know, last week, Xbox had their 1900 layoffs. And there were some huge people affected by that. There were smaller developers affected by that. Everyone who was affected, it just wasn't a good thing. And it looks like there are more layoffs that are occurring here. And this is at Activision Blizzard as well again. And this is targeting the esports division, which is funny because Blizzard just hired the new president, who was, I believe, the head at Call of Duty for the esports division. And they say here that they are firing more people. Specifically, they say, according to Charlie Intel, it appears as though a major part of the esports team at Activision Blizzard has been let go. The layoffs happened just 2 days after the Call of Duty League wrapped up its Boston Breach Major 1 event. And Scott Parkin, who is a former senior manager of esports operations at Activision Blizzard, took to Twitter to confirm the news while venting frustration. He says, they did it. They actually did it. They let us work with that over our heads and laid us off on our first day. The lack of common decency is a joke. Then you have caster Matt Morello confirming this, saying, unfortunately today, along with a lot of other amazing esports folks, I've been let go from Blizzard. So there are more layoffs. It has not stopped, I guess, at that 1900, or they could have been a part of that 1900. They just didn't know about it yet. And this has to come from the esports divisions here at Activision Blizzard. And the craziest thing about all of these layoffs is they did 1900 layoffs because a lot of it is redundancy, of course, that they need. They're not going to have double departments or the same role twice. It's a company. The reality of the situation is they're there to make money, but they do these layoffs and then they announce just record revenues, and Xbox becoming the third largest part of Microsoft just a few days later during their financial reports. So all of this, as you can see, at the end of the day, is corporations at wanting to make as much money as possible. They don't care about the gamers as much as people like to think that they do. They don't care about the employees as much. They will cut them for their bottom line. And this is kind of where we are. Not that it's abnormal, because it is happening across the entire industry, and it's just going to be a bad year when it comes to layoffs. We're going to be talking about this, I think, consistently. I mean, I've covered pretty much every layoff on this channel, from Riot to Microsoft to the Embracer Group to pretty much anyone else out there that has had it, because there has been a lot, and I will continue to cover it. And we will, because it's important, and we will see when the industry kind of starts to shift back to where it is in a more healthy position in terms of the people actually working and making the games. Now let's jump over here, because yesterday we talked about Shapeshifter Games. Now, Shapeshifter Games was a new studio that popped up, and it was said that they were working on co-developing an Xbox game. Now, people had thought, myself included, that that was a new Xbox game. And that is not the case. It has now been confirmed here that Shapeshifter Games is actually working with In Exile Entertainment to work on Clockwork Revolution. So the rumors about Shapeshifter Games working on an Xbox game are true, and they are working with In Exile. This comes from In Exile Entertainment saying, the automation cat is out of the bag. Happy to say that X-Volition formed Shapeshifter Games has been working with us on Clockwork game. They say this one is special for us because of my long history with them, going back to the Descent and Free Space game. So Shapeshifter, brand new studio with Volition employees. As we know, Volition was a part of the downfall right now of the industry. It was shrinking, and the Embracer Group closing the studio, laying off a lot of people, and those people have come together, make Shapeshifter, and now they're actually working with Xbox, which is pretty cool. We'll see how this does turn out, because I understand Saints Row, the reboot, the story and the characters I did not like. I thought the story and characters were way worse than the previous Saints Row games. However, the gameplay I still thought was pretty fun. So if they can bring in their gameplay expertise to Clockwork Revolution, I'm all for seeing how this is going to end up turning out. Okay, the annual first party PlayStation game coming onto Xbox has officially been announced again, and that is MLB The Show 24 will be launching onto Xbox Game Pass on March 19th. And for me, I grew up an Expos fan. Vladimir Guerrero was probably my favorite player. Maybe one of my top, probably definitely in my top 3 to 5 players of all time. And now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be on the cover. Obviously, he is a part of the Toronto Blue Jays, so represents Canada, represents my favorite player, and it's just awesome to see, and I'm excited to play the show because I've been a fan of the show for a long time. I didn't play it nearly as much as I wanted to in 23, played a decent amount of it in 22. 24 I will definitely be jumping in, but this is great. I mean, this is going to be a constant when it comes to Game Pass. Every single year we are going to be getting arguably one of the best sports games out there, which is the show in terms of its gameplay, graphics, the game modes. It is a phenomenal sports game. Every year Xbox Game Pass players are going to get it, and it is a first-party PlayStation game. And no matter how you want to look at it, I mean, everyone is always making these arguments about third-party and all of these things. People look at the show and they say, well, this is the MLB forcing MLB, the show, onto other platforms. But the reality of the situation is we are in a completely different era. We would have never expected to see this first-party PlayStation game on Xbox 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and here we are for the third year in a row that it is dropping day and date into Xbox Game Pass. The question now for me is Sony going to finally give their fans and their gamers the same value that Xbox has? And are they going to be dropping this onto PlayStation Plus day one? If I'm a PlayStation guy right now, I am asking Sony, I'm being vocal that they got to do the same thing here. If it's on Game Pass day one, it should be in PlayStation Plus day one as well. All right, let's talk about Starfield, because Starfield is rolling out a massive update and there is a bunch of stuff included in here. I'll just do a quick rundown here from Clockwork, because if you actually go to the website itself, the update that they are putting out is gigantic. Like, there are so many things here that they are updating. The list is endless, but essentially this is what's happening. A wide range of graphical improvements, significant lighting improvements, improved widescreen support for PC, over 100 fixes and adjustments, quality of life improvements, and more. So if you've been playing the game and you've been noticing some things that maybe are off, most likely they are now actually fixed within this Starfield update. And we got to jump here. There's two more things I do want to talk about. We'll start off with this one. It looks like there's a new Xbox controller coming. We don't know exactly what this is, but this was put up on Amazon. No image available. And this is the Canadian pricing, so knock $20 off of that for the US pricing. But it is a brand new Xbox controller. It's up for pre-order, releases February 20th. Guessing this is going to be announced very soon. With the price of it, I'm assuming this is just going to be another branded controller in terms of the colors or in terms of the theme on it. Maybe it's for a game. Maybe it's a Hellblade 2 controller. They're preparing for that. I don't think this is the premium controller that we did see from the FTC document leaks. I'm expecting that one to probably be, at least in Canadian dollars, $100, and in US dollars maybe $80-90. But we'll see what this is. It just randomly showed up on Amazon, and we can start talking about it fully when they do officially announce. But the other one, actually going through the comments here, we did see a leak earlier of an Elden Ring Xbox controller, so maybe it is the Elden Ring Xbox controller that this is going to end up being. And finally, let's talk about this, because this has been a discussion since the layoffs at Microsoft, and that is physical versus digital. I've already given my whole speech on what I think about this. I totally understand. I know I'm a dinosaur. I've accepted the fact that we are moving to a fully digital gaming era. I'm not happy about it because I still like my physical games, and I think overall that's going to be worse for the consumer for a couple of reasons. One, game preservation. We are going to lose games due to the digital era. Games that are going to be delisted, that you're not going to be able to play anymore, and you'll have no way to access them. And I think it's going to reduce choice from gamers. And I think these companies are going to take advantage of the fact that everybody has full digital, and they're going to take advantage of the pricing. I know we've seen examples like Hellblade being cheaper because there's no physical version, Alan Wake being cheaper because there is no physical version, but the vast majority of games, they sell their digital versions at the same price as they sell the physical versions. And what this has told publishers is that people, because majority of people are buying digital, people are willing to spend the full price, the same price as a physical game in digital form. So I will be shocked, absolutely shocked, if we see publishers, when we're full digital, reducing the price of their games. I just don't think it's going to happen. I really hope that I am wrong. But we have another example here why physical, I think, is important. Spec Ops: The Line is now being delisted from the Xbox store. So if you haven't bought it, you're not going to be able to play it unless you have the physical version of it. And why it's important, justplay.org actually has a great website where you can go and you can see what games in physical form are playable without an internet connection and without any download whatsoever. And obviously this is an Xbox 360 game, but Spec Ops: The Line, if you own the physical version, it won't matter that they are delisting this game, because you can play it offline and you can play without a download, and you can play the entire campaign and everything with just pretty much no bugs encountered. And this is another example here why physical games are important and why I hope they don't go away, at least another generation that we will have physical games. I know it's wishful thinking, but we will have to see that. And then finally, I thought it was going to end off with that, but we'll end off with this. Insurgency Sandstorm is coming to the Xbox Series X and S in native 4K at 60 frames per second, and 1080p on the Xbox Series S. Will have improved resolution, performance, and features. So I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll be right back.